This is the Padua Podcast Network.
Running a Fever, episode 354. Extremes.
Warming up my lower extremities like I have to do to keep from getting injured again. All right, then I'm gonna do a back stretch or two. I've said in other podcasts I need to stretch my back because that's the part that gives me the most trouble while I'm walking. Don't expect it to give me much trouble today. Set a 20-minute timer. All right. So welcome to Running a Fever. My name's Michael Davis. This is a podcast about fitness, diet, and medicine. My goal is to live a long, healthy, happy, active life right up to the very end. And if that's what your goal is, then you're in the right place. We can share information with each other. And I want to love my life enough to make it last as long as possible. Those two go hand in hand, I think. So we're doing something we've done really when we, for some reason, don't want to go outside. I'm inside in my house on my stationary bike. And I just released an episode recently that was a review of episode 101. This current episode will be 350 something. So we're going back to a few of those older episodes. And it was this kind of deal. It was me sitting on riding the stationary bike and talking about the show. Then I was doing high intensity interval training. It's interesting when we think of the body being in extremes of, the same thing is true of intermittent fasting. We do one thing, then we do another alternating, and it turns out to be good for the body. Kind of makes sense in a way. You've got to stretch in different directions, just like warming up. But, intermittent fasting means, there's a whole bunch of different ways to do it. But you eat during a certain period and then you fast during a certain period. It's on a daily basis, and I've been kind of doing this. You try to fit, there's no hard set rule, but what I've been doing is trying to fit all my eating into an 8-hour period and then fasting the other 16 hours, just having, water, nothing else. And then you could do it not within the day, but within a week or so, or multiple days, wherein you fast for 2 days and eat for 5 days, or something like that. And I've kind of decided also that I'm going to do something like that. I'd like to fast on Wednesdays and Fridays. And I've kind of decided to, not just for my health, but also for my faith. I am Catholic, and we believe in fasting. It's a much milder form of fasting than I'm actually doing, and only on 2 days out of the year is it mandatory. But during the period of Lent in which we're in, it is recommended to fast and pray and give alms. So fasting is one of those things. I think it might do my body good as well as my soul. And so I decided to try to do that. Last Friday, I started feeling ill, started feeling nauseous. So I did wind up eating on Friday. If it seems like that it's causing me a health problem, I'm not gonna do it. Sometimes extremes can be good. It's like for your mind to stretch your ability to think. I'm trying to think of an example of that. So this morning, what I'm doing is I'm on the stationary bike. I'm going to ride for 20 minutes, just like I did the last time. The last time I did it, it was great. I felt good all day. It's wasn't very strenuous. I'm not really doing the high intensity interval training. I'm not doing intervals. I'm not doing sprints. Not doing anything hard, just moving. I might pick up my pace a little bit here. Yeah, I could have gone for a walk. It's getting to where there are more, there are less cold days. Yesterday I started out at 30 degrees and wound up in the 70s in the middle of the day. So it's that kind of thing where it's not really cold. It's sort of warming up in spring to get ready for spring and those kind of temperatures happening. But I just haven't been getting up early enough to do that and get to work when I want to get to work. But today I'm working from home, so that would have given me some extra time that I don't need to, get dressed for work. Probably could have done a quick walk if I wanted to, but these days I'm spending 25 or 30 minutes on my walks, driving to and from. That would, it'd probably get me to work before 7 o'clock. I usually start at 6:30, but 7 o'clock will be okay. Anyway, chose not to do that. It's become very difficult this year to establish habits. Very difficult for me for some reason. I just can't get it going. So I haven't been walking for a while. I haven't been on the exercise bike. I think my eating may be slightly better, and that I'm not going to the extremes that I used to, and my weight's staying the same, coming down a little bit, not really going anywhere. And it needs to go down for sure. And I remembered, guess what? Surprise, surprise, I'm not doing what I was doing when I was making progress last year. Counting my calories, checking my weight every day, counting the calories. And that's always been a good system, and it's been there anytime I've done really well with my eating. So pretty sure I need to start doing that again to get things moving. It's not really that hard once you get into it. Not really mentally challenging. You just have to. I've got a huge list that's still handwritten. I've been meaning to put it into typed form and alphabetized and everything, but it's just a sheet of notebook paper with foods and calorie numbers all over it. It's kind of messy, but still can find it. And, it's a lot of that's still in my head. Serving a chicken, 160 calories. Serving a turkey, 130 calories. Serving a beef, 284 calories. Hamburger bun or 2 slices of bread, 130 calories. A lot of those are just still in my head. And if they're not, I can just look them up. So why don't I just start doing that today? Just remind me of bacon, I think, is incredibly high, like 130 calories a slice or something like that. So, just for a check-in, my well-rounded life is going pretty well. Had a little more social activity, having people over to my house, going to other folks' houses for a meal. In my faith, I've been more active in my faith Not just because it's Lent, but I just have that desire to do that. Staying busy at work, it's always important to me. I always feel better when I'm more productive and when I'm not. And today's going to be a challenge for that. Working from home. Used to be able to do it pretty well when during the COVID period when I was working from home every day. But lately it's just been hard to get things going. I've noticed it helps to schedule my work. I've had this situation with something that I manage that anytime I make changes to it, I have to get approvals. I have to schedule it and then get approvals to do it. It involves filling out a form with a bunch of stuff on it. So if I don't get it done, there's no way to reschedule. So I have to cancel that form and do it all over again. So it's a motivator to get things done. It's, approvals are always done with very little, unless I make a mistake on the form or something. But that helps because now I've got it scheduled. I can only get it done with this time. I can't put it off or not do it easily. So that helps. And I do have some work scheduled for today. So I'm working from home today because I'm getting a delivery. Of course, they just gave me a window sometime between 11:30 and 3:30. So I've always wondered, the British say 6:30 or 7:30, to tell the time. And I don't know if is 6:30, 5:30, or 6:30. Always wondered about that. If you know, mail at runningafever.com or put in a comment on the video on YouTube. Comment on the blog at runningafever.com / the number of this episode. And I'd love to hear the answer to that before I, if it bothers me enough, I'll go to Google and figure it out. But it's one of those things that's always in my mind. 3 minutes left. I'll just jump in the shower and then make the 30-second commute from one bedroom to another where my desk is. And I'll be ready to start the workday. I also have a voice lesson scheduled for today, but I have to reschedule with the delivery and everything. 2 minutes. So we're finishing up here. Hopefully no injuries. Just been a really mild, sort of moderate exercise. Nothing wrong with that. Important thing is to keep moving, and that's what I'm doing. So, hope you've enjoyed this episode, and as always, if you got that running fever, then keep it burning. And if you don't, catch the fever on runningafever.com or the Running a Fever podcast. Thank you for listening. Michael Davis, signing off. 52 seconds to go.